Hi guys, and welcome to this week's collective reading. Apologies for the late reading. I don't actually have a good excuse. I really just hadn't realized what day it was yesterday until it was quite late in the evening, because we don't run on a normal weekday, weekend schedule in our house. And keeping track of what day it is, especially when my daughter is on summer holidays, she's homeschooled, it's just extra challenging because I have no reason to really think about what day of the week it is. So yeah, there's no good reason for this being late besides I'm just over here living my life in complete, I'm in my own bubble. But we'll say that that's a good segue into this first card of this reading, which is dolphins. And for some reason, it stands out in my mind that we had this card come out once before, back around my daughter's birthday in October of last year. And I just remember, for some reason, I remember this card coming out when I was doing the reading at my sister's house in America and talking about the playfulness of this card. So it would have been around October 20th as we were there for my daughter's birthday, and that's her birthday. And I just mentioned that in case there is anything about that time that you can remember that links to this current time. So around October 20th, 2023. Yeah. And this card is a beautiful reminder to embody a playful, light energy. And it reads at the bottom, play. It's okay to relax. Smile again and share your flow. So this is about letting yourself shake off this serious energy, which is kind of funny. It's a funny play on words, as we just had the Sirius gateway. And Sirius as in S-I-R-I-U-S, Sirius, the star, or I should say sun. It's the brightest star in our night sky, but it's actually a sun that is much, much larger than our sun. And it's considered our spiritual sun. So the gateway that we've just had, right, is when our sun forms a conjunction with Sirius, meaning that there's a clear line of communication between our spiritual sun and our sun that opens up to us. And Sirius is commonly known as the dog star. And don't worry, this is tying together to make sense. So if I'm losing you, just try to stay with me. So as Sirius is the dog star, because if you're familiar with constellations, Sirius is the dog that's following Orion the hunter. This is where we get the saying, the dog days of summer, right? Because it marks the time of year that is generally the hottest, humid days, right? And the dog days of summer start at the time of the Sirius gateway, and it runs through about the Lion's Gate in August, right? And the Lion's Gate is around the time of the heliacal rising of Sirius. And I say around because, these dates would have been in alignment at one point in time, but we've got the precession of the equinoxes, or the precession of the equinox, which, makes our day kind of slightly shift out of sync every year because we've got that quarter day. Anyway, that marked the heliacal rising of Sirius, what I was talking about, right? It means that it could be seen rising with our sun. And this marked the time of the new year in ancient Egypt. right? As the rising of Sirius, the star, or the sun, was the same time the Nile would flood, which sounds like a bad thing, but the flooding of the Nile every year was seen as a blessing for the Egyptians, as the flooding brought the fertile soil to the desert lands, right? So this is what enabled them to like live and prosper. So coming back to the play card, I see this as a reminder not to go through this period of time, right, known as the dog days of summer, hot, dry. This would be seen as an angry time or an unlucky time, like the phrase hot and bothered, right? Think of that. To take that time and to bring playfulness on, right? If you're feeling hot and bothered by things, play with water to cool down and lighten up. Have fun and allow yourself to be playful, right? I was just talking about this with my friends a few days ago, that when you're with, we were talking about kids, and when they're overwhelmed by emotions, to interrupt that energy by injecting playfulness and laughter. So for my daughter, dance parties work. Something else may work for you personally, right? Because this isn't just about kids. This works for us as adults. Because play is like a reset button, right? There's like this joke in the tech world where they say, have you tried turning it off and on again? Because a lot of tech equipment, when it seems broken, if you just turn it off and turn it on again, like that fixes it like a large percentage of the time. So for human technology, let's say, for human technology, it would be like, have you tried play? It's like this easy idea of like, well, have you even tried this most simple concept to, you know, make you better? Play. And because we have all these gateways right now, I brought out the gateway of light activation deck, and we have the Stargate heart card, right? With this Merkaba in the center. I actually always keep, I don't know if it shows up in a lot of the videos because it's literally right there. I keep this little Merkaba crystal right here. And I love this, as last week's reading brought in work with sacred geometry. I'm probably going to ruin it, but I literally, it's off camera. I'm going to try to carry it in without ruining it. Nope, I've ruined it. But I had my little sacred geometry grid, right, based on like the Merkaba or Metronon's cube, with the, I'm going on a tangent now, sorry guys. But this was my way of pearls that I was working with in this grid based off of last week's reading. I'll move it back to the side. I'll have to reactivate that because I've completely messed it up, but that's okay. Yeah, but this idea of sacred geometry came out last week, so this feels like a nice follow along, right? And this card is all about opening the heart space, right? It reads heart chakra opening, unlocking, and generosity. And I love this, right? Because the heart, I see it as it's the portal that brings in the spark of source into our being, right? So our heart space is what links us to our sun and our spiritual sun, or Sirius. So you can imagine this straight line from your heart center going straight through the center of our sun and then straight through the center of Sirius. And this line extends in either direction infinitely. Right? This is like a mind-blown moment, right? So within you, this line continues into your own universe as well, right? Because the universe is the you inverse, right? And then it also extends even further out than even Sirius, right? It keeps on going to Sirius's higher octave and then another higher octave. It just keeps going. And this is actually quite a deep idea to ponder on. Sometimes these things that we speak about that can be like, seem really silly and small, can also be really deep and mind-blowing when you really think about it, right? And it's okay to even just sit in awe and wonder of it all, right? And feel that connection from your heart space and keeping that heart space open, right? And in the energy of play right now. Because with the Five of Cups, this is quite a happy Five of Cups, which makes sense with the dolphins leading us with play. But the Five of Cups in general, right? It's a card of signaling a time of deep loss and disappointment, right? These cups at the feet have spilled, right? These are like your emotions that have tipped over and, you know, it's lost. But you have two cups either side of you with this beautiful transformational energy coming out of it. So you have the choice now, right? To focus on these spilled cups, disappointment, loss, right? Or you can focus on these cups full of opportunities, right? This brings a gift of transformed perception where you can see life in a new light, right? So this is the personal growth and deeper understanding of life that you can glean from life's circumstances, right? And with the butterflies and the rainbows, it's saying how sometimes, I know it sounds so bad, but it's true, right? Sometimes loss is an essential step towards your ultimate destiny. And we've got the rainbow here as well in this dolphin card. And there's even like this rainbow aura just filling this, you know, coming out of this heart center here, right? The Five of Cups is a card of grieving, but also not getting stuck in that process. It's like, feel the emotions, let it go, right? And with the other cards on the table, I would say to remember that it's okay to play in this process of grieving, right? Don't bury the emotions or store them away, right? So this isn't playing to just pretend like there's nothing wrong. That's not the same. This is keeping the heart open, right? While you're playing, right? Keep the heart open. And that's the key that will allow these emotions to flow through and transmute with time. But grief and play is going to sound crazy, right? But grief and play can actually exist together, right? You don't have to let grief to take you over. And play doesn't have to mean that you're ignoring your feelings, right? This is about using play as a tool to transmute, right? We said feel and let go. So feel those emotions and let them go. You know, maybe if you're doing your dance party or whatever play is for you, singing, going out with your friends, going for a walk, go swimming with the dolphins, how amazing would that be? Let your emotions be felt, and in your playfulness, let them go. And that is this week's reading. I am going to leave it at that. I am wishing you all the best, and I will speak to you next week. Bye, guys.